So hi there, I'm Diane Callahan, developmental editor and YouTuber quotidian writer. And I'm here with Hero Bowen, one of the writers for Story Garden Publishing and the co-author of the adult urban fantasy novel Wish Hunter, among other wonderful books. And today I want to talk about American English versus British English, because even though they're the same language, we have all these little different quirks and slang and things like that. And I have a lot of fun editing Hero's writing because she's British. So there's all these little Britishisms that sneak in, and I have to be like, wait, like, is this a British thing, or do I just not know some kind of term in American English, which does happen. But so I want to start off by talking about where you're from in England and like what kind of dialect or accent that you have.
Mhm. Okay, so I was brought up in Newcastle, so that's the northeast of England, and the accent there is called Geordie. It's very unique. I don't have much of an accent left, but my siblings and when I was younger, I had a much thicker accent, but it's just now like a lilt of it here and there. But then I lived for a long time in Liverpool, which has the Scouse accent, so Beatles, if you listen to them, that's what Scouse sort of sounds like, although there's a stronger version, which is like, what are you saying? What are you saying? So yeah, it's like the two of the most unique accents for the places that I've lived. So I sort of have I don't really know, it's like a mix of Geordie, Scouse, something, but just like a hint of it. I don't have a very strong accent at all.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how accents aren't really like delineated by fine lines, and I think that's true in the US too. Like there's sort of regional differences, and I'm from the Midwest, like Columbus, Ohio, so I feel like I have the normal accent, the normal American accent. But I don't even know I don't know if I say soda or pop either. Like I get kind of confused. Like I'm not actually sure which one I say. But that sort of thing. Those are like the regionalisms. But you have regionalisms too between different areas of.
Yeah, so many. Like everywhere, England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. You can literally go within 5 miles of somewhere and it will be a different accent, or it'll be a different variation on the accent. So there'll be different, a different dialect, different way of saying it. So it's a slight different accent change. And you can start a fight by what you call a bread roll. So that's like a big sort of like fighting point, especially in the north, as to what you call like a bread roll.
What are the options? Yeah.
So in Newcastle, so for Geordie, it's stotty, but not said like that. It's said like stotty because of the glottal stop. It's farm in some places, cob in some places, farm cake, bread cake, butty, but that's when you have something in it. But like wherever you are, they call it something different, and you can start a fight over it, as well as whether you say scone or scone.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Big one. Yeah, so I say scone.
You say scone? I didn't know that.
Scone.
Like I offended some British people like accidentally on Twitter, jokingly, because I'd made these scones, and the recipe was like, you can make lemon curd with it. So I was eating the scones with lemon curd, and so I posted a picture of it. The British people were like, scones with lemon curd? What are you doing?
Are you insane? Yeah, and then there's a fight over whether you put your cream or your jam first. That's another one.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you're supposed to do it cream and jam, but I do it jam then cream.
That makes more sense to me.
The cream sticks to the jam. I don't know. Everyone in Cornwall will be like rolling, going, no.
Yeah, and then that's really funny. And then here too, like with the tea culture, obviously, like here we're like, okay, here's like just like a bag of tea and a cup, and that I microwave the water, and that's like sacrilegious. You're like, oh my god, this is obscene.
Microwave the water. Yes. Do you really do that?
Yes. I don't drink like the fancy kind of tea that's like filtered or whatever, but I don't have a teapot. Like who owns a teapot? That's like the most quaint thing. Okay.
Do you not have kettles? Like
we
electric kettle?
Some people do. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big tea drinker. I'm not
Yeah.
like super hipster about it. I'm sure that people who are super into tea have kettles here, but
But do you not have it for coffee as well, like instant coffee?
yeah, we have like a coffee machine. I don't really drink much coffee, but
Yeah.
but yeah, we have that. But I'm like, I don't think you can make tea
Microwave.
in it. Yeah, microwave.
Microwave. No.
Yeah, and I think the other beverage that I just thought was hilarious, that this one time I was editing a fantasy novel that you'd written, and then you mentioned like elderberry cordial, and I was like,
Mm.
oh, what a little fun like fantasy drink for you to invent. And I didn't correct it or anything or change it because I was like, well, that sounds just so fanciful. And then I realized later that it was a real thing that
Yeah.
you drink. So
Yeah, yeah.
what is it?
So it's either elderberry or elderflower cordial.
Mhm.
It's so good. It's so good. So it's like it's sweet and kind of floral, but not in like a you have like a rose syrup or something like that. It's not quite as soapy as that. Like it's a nice floral, like fresh. And then you have it with like if you're a drinker, it's really nice with gin and tonic. So gin tonic and elderflower cordial. Ah, delicious.
Yeah.
Or you can just have it with like soda water or like fizzy water or lemonade. And it's just it's so good. But then we're quite big on our cordials or like squash, as we call it.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like it's like a type of soda or like like just like a sugar liquid flavor
Yeah, it's
or
just like
yeah.
a sugar, like a concentrated sugar liquid, yeah. And
Yeah.
then you add water to it, or when you're like sick as a kid, a lot of the time you'll get hot squash, so hot blackcurrant squash, which is so good when you feel sick and it's really cold outside and miserable. But we're big cordial people. We like a cordial. Ribena, that's the one.
Oh my gosh, that's so adorable. Yeah, I remember drinking like Canada Dry ginger ale when I was sick. Like that was the thing that you
Yeah.
to have when you're sick, at least in my family. But I think so other American versus British differences like with spelling, I thought that's always been interesting. You've pretty like quickly corrected like okay, I shouldn't say corrected. I'm just being like an American snob right now. Okay, you quickly changed the, like color and
Yeah.
favorite, taking out the O's or the U's and
Leaves.
just yeah, just an O. And then gray, we usually use A. I see a lot of Americans spell gray Grey though. Like a
Yeah.
lot of Americans like it. But yeah, and so what other like spelling differences did you try to like memorize early on?
It's like ERRE. So theatre, centre,
Yes,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. So obviously in British English it's RE, so theatre RE, and then in America it's ER. Racked without the W, as in like racking
Yeah,
the brain. And I'm
yeah.
not sure, is it definitely without the W?
I know. I'm trying to like. I always have to look it up every time I see it. I have to
Yeah.
like look it up because there's like a whole dictionary entry on which one is technically right based on
Yeah.
the older meaning of racked, of like what it means to rack your brain. Sometimes I'll just change the phrase entirely because I don't want to deal with
Yeah,
it.
to get around it.
Because yeah, sometimes if you take off the W or you leave it, then people are going to think, oh, that's wrong or right, even if the right way is right. Like that's the issue with spelling sometimes.
Without the W, it just makes me think of like pool, like racking up a thing of balls.
Oh yes,
Like
yeah,
on a
yeah.
pool table, I'm like, well, that's not what I mean. I'm
And
not.
racking your brain.
Why are you racking up? I don't know. Racking up
Yeah,
the brain balls. I don't know. And then there's like time. Time still baffles me. So I think we say stuff like 5:30,
oh,
but
like what do
it's
you?
like 5:30. I get
Yeah,
corrected a lot to do it like as 5:30 or like 5:15 or but we'd say like 5:15 or 5:30, 4:45, and I guess it's just analog and digital, isn't it?
yeah, it is. And so, I
So
mean,
you
I
do
think
it.
like you could say 5:30 and people would know what you meant, but you'd sound like a little archaic, I think, here. Like it's very
Yeah,
like formal maybe.
I think it's because we miss out the past as well. So it's just half
Oh,
five.
oh, half
So you're
five.
like,
Yeah, okay,
you're
that's
like,
true.
what?
Because we would say
Two and a
like
half?
half past. Yeah, yeah, that is that. And then yeah, I'm still baffled at the floors for like buildings. like because the first floor and the second floor are like different
Yeah.
things, and like that
So
messes with my head.
we have like obviously, well, obviously no, it's ground floor, first floor, second. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then in the States it's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no 0, right?
Yeah, well, sometimes there is a ground floor and a first floor, like, but usually the ground floor is like below the first floor, like a basement level. I feel like that's happened. I mean, it
Right.
really depends. Like, if you're in an elevator and you'll have like a G or a one, and then like so, but the one is separate. Like, it'll be like
Yeah.
ground floor, first floor, and then yeah, because the first floor is usually the ground floor. Like so,
Yeah.
like this is like I'm on the first floor of my house, and then there's a second
Yeah.
floor. But would you still call it that, or would you like say ground floor and
So
then
it's
that's the first floor?
ground floor, first floor in a house.
Yeah.
So up the stairs is the first floor. So
Wow. Okay.
confusing.
I know, and I mean, it actually makes more sense when I think about it, but 'cause-
Oh, and also, how do you spell? Because I just avoid it now because I can't get it to work on the computer. How do you spell story? As in like a
yeah,
6-story house?
yeah, we spell it just like a story, as in like a fiction story, a short story, like yeah,
So there's another
STORY.
change
Yeah,
without an
because you
E.
have the E in there, and then
Yeah.
yeah, and that makes sense because that differentiates it. But we just use like the
Yeah.
same stories of a house, the story in
Okay.
a book.
Well, now I know. Now I
Yes.
know. It just gets that little red line under it. I'm like,
Mhm.
well, how do you spell
You
it
spell
then?
it. I know it's an IE. Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
do.
can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I want to play like a sort of game where
Yeah.
I say a word, as many Americans might call it, at least me as a Midwesterner, and then
Yeah.
you can tell me what you'd say in British English.
Okie doke.
So I'll go like I say, and then but you say, and yeah, and then some of these might not be true to your experience, so just say what's most like accurate to you, because
Yeah.
some of them I'm like I assume there's a difference, but like maybe we say it the same. Who knows?
Yeah.
But windshield.
Windshield or windscreen?
Yeah, so you say both.
Yeah,
I think that's
windscreen.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw you write windscreen once and I was like, windscreen? And I was like, wait a minute, I don't think we call it
Windshield.
that. But then I'm not sure, right? Like sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
do people call it windscreen? Because like feel sometimes I worry that I'm wrong. And I'm like, other Americans, like, what if they say this and I'm the one that doesn't say it? So
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if I just say windshield now because it's been like embedded into my head from all the like, no, we don't say this. No, but I'm sure some people say windshield, some people say I say windscreen,
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
but I've changed that. I've changed my way.
Then we'd say like trunk of a car, like the trunk,
Boot.
the boot. Yeah, I always like
Yeah.
that. That's very funny.
The
Though
front
it's-
is a bonnet.
The front is a bonnet. Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense now. I was about to ask. I was like, well, what does that have a relation to? I see the car is a body with
Yeah.
clothes. And then this one's like a little situational, but like the word vomit. Like I often hear you say like a different term for like vomit. Like there's some
Throw
vomit
up.
on the floor. We do say throw up, but
Sick.
sick. Yeah, using
Yeah.
sick as a noun. Like we don't really use sick as
Yeah.
like a noun.
Sick on the floor.
Yeah, sick on the floor. Like there's this moment in like Wish Hunter where you say like she faked like a mini sick, and it's like I think I changed it to she faked a mini vomit. Like it's like that
Yeah.
that expression. So because it's like yeah, we just use sick like I am sick for like adjective, but
Yeah. Mini sick. The mini sick.
it's a mini sick. And then this one I just like read about this recently where like a domestic short hair like a cat. Like I heard there was a specific term for this in British English that like we definitely don't use
Oh, do you
here.
mean moggies?
Yes,
Yeah,
moggies.
moggies.
Yes.
Moggies is kind of cat, general for cat. Moggies.
What does that come from? What does moggies mean?
No idea. Moggies.
That's so cute. I've never heard of it before. So that's like
Yeah,
a cat.
because there's a children's book as well called Meg and Mog, and Mog is the cat. But that's not where it comes from. It's just the cat's obviously been named after Moggies.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? I need to get my Merriam-Webster out and be like,
I know.
Moggies,
This-
etymology.
I
Tell
know.
me. Yeah, no, it's a good word though, Moggies. Yeah,
It
it's
is
kind
good.
of just cat, general cat.
Just cat.
Yeah, yeah.
And then parking lot. I feel like a lot of people know.
Car park.
Yeah, the car park. Yeah, car park. Oh, yes, it. My hard
Car
R's.
park.
Car
Car park.
park.
Car park.
And then we usually say AC or air conditioning. here.
We don't have it.
Yeah, I know, that
We don't have
baffles me.
AC. But why is that?
I don't know. I mean, it gets very hot in some places here, especially the south. So it's like basically required. And it's also
Yeah.
very humid.
It's
But
been really warm here, and
yeah,
my apartment is mainly glass. So it's like a greenhouse. And I'm just like, I want air conditioning. Why don't we have it? But we'd call it air conditioning or aircon.
yeah, that's what I've seen you write, aircon, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is it British? Because yeah, I don't think nobody really uses aircon here. So we always say AC.
Yeah.
And I guess that's
Keep it simple.
yeah.
AC, aircon.
This one always makes me happy just to see like the word for wrench, like the wrench, like a tool.
Spanner.
A spanner. Like I
Throw
love
a spanner in the works.
so spanner in the works. Yeah, throw a wrench in the works. I love that so much. And a flashlight.
Torch.
Yeah, which I also love because I just kind of imagine like the Olympic torch, like walking around with like Olympic torch. But I think that's also, it sounds more magical than flashlight.
Torch. Yeah.
And then yeah, so when I like, okay, this one's also kind of complex because like I remember we'd have like, there was like a character outside or something like that, and then you would be like, he hit the floor, he fell to the floor, and I'd be like, no, he fell to the ground because it's outside. But then like I think is it like normal to say, call the outside the floor, like for the ground?
I don't know if that's just me.
No, I heard it in a show. So I heard it in like
Okay.
End of the Effing World, which is British.
Oh yeah.
And they said that, and then I felt so bad because I remember one time it was like I was like America splaining to you like, no, the floor is inside, the ground is outside, and then I was like, oh no, that's just like a British thing, and I was just being like,
Yeah. If you like telling someone to like get down, you would probably say like hit the floor or hit the deck. Hit the floor, hit the deck. But I don't know if that is just me or not. Floor, I think floor and ground are kind of interchangeable. But then it might just be me, so I don't want to say on that one.
Yeah, I know it's tough. And I mean, we do say forest floor. Like we'll be like the forest floor for outside, but then like if you're like, oh, I found this on the floor and you found it outside, really you mean like I found it on the ground.
No, we would say floor.
So it's like I found it on the floor.
If you say, yeah, that could be outside. You'd be like, I found it on the floor.
Yeah, so I'd be like, because like floor, I think of like carpet or like in the house, and then like ground, I'm like ground is like dirt, sidewalk, street.
Yeah, that's a confusing one.
Yes,
I found it on the floor.
Yeah. So that's
yeah, we would say that. That's just us being weird.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
I mean, yeah. What even makes sense with language? I mean, this one's also kind of subtle. Like you'd be say like, like, are you getting better? Are you feeling better? Like we might say that, and then I've heard you say, like, it's like a quiz.
Are you on the mend?
Yeah, on the mend. I love on the mend. Yeah, so that's something I've never like. I kind of just want to ask somebody that, like, that I know, and see how they react, because like they'll be like, "What is this word?"
Yeah, it's kind of a sweet one because it kind of makes you think that someone's like patching you back together. They're like mending you.
Yes, I love that. Yes. And then we might say like, "How are you doing?" And then I've heard or seen you write like, "How are you getting on?" Like that's the.
How are you getting on? Yeah. You getting on all right? How are you getting on? Yeah. We say like we do say all right a lot, as in like you all right, but that just means that could be hello. You all right?
Yeah.
You all right? And then people are like, yes, I'm all right. It's like, no, it's just hello.
So how are you getting? Yeah, how are you supposed to respond to that? Like, because when you say, how are you? Really, we want you to say good or fine. We don't want you to answer honestly. Like that's the culture. But like, do you have like,
But how are you getting on? You mean?
Yeah.
How are you getting on? You probably just say, yeah, all right.
Okay, there's that. And then like, and then you say you all right, and then you just say yes, right? Or what do you say?
Yeah, and then so if you're in like if you meet anyone and they say you all right, you just go, yeah, fine, you, and then they go, yeah, you all right, or you just say yeah, like it's literally just like hello, you all right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You all right? Mm-hmm. And then it just goes. That's it.
Oh wow. Okay, so just the cycle, just the forever cycle of that. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
And then I also love so for sweater, like wearing a sweater in winter. You have a sweater. which is
jumper.
as a jumper. Yeah, a jumper.
Yeah.
I like I can't say it. Okay, I'm just gonna embarrass myself trying to.
Jumper. But then if it was RP English, it would be a jumper. But because I've got an accent, it's jumper. Jumper.
And then like I will never not be entertained by like the confusion of pants and like yeah.
Trousers.
So yeah, pants are trousers, but then pants means
knickers.
Yes, it means knickers, which means underwear here. We don't use knickers here.
So it's like your pants are your underpants. That's why it's so confusing. So the pants is underpants, and your pants are trousers.
Yes, and that leads to very funny situations and like writing the story when they're like, like she was just going outside without any pants on, and that's like very different than having no like is it no trousers or no knickers, right? Like that's like which one is it? There's quite a big difference. I love that so much. Yeah, I also like, I don't remember the name for this one. So we have a game called like red light, green light. I'm not sure if everybody's played it, but you run and then they're like red light and you stop and there's green light and then you like keep running. Like it's like a kid's game.
Towards someone at the front.
Yes.
Yes. You're trying around.
You're trying to get, I think sort of like that. And then so you have like a name for it too.
Yeah. So we call it Granny's footstep.
Yeah.
Which is just, I don't know where that comes from, but no, it actually does make sense. So there's a person at the front with their back to you, and you have to try and get to them and tap them on the shoulder, but you have to obviously move really slowly. So presumably that's Granny moving slowly, footsteps, and then the person at the front will like turn around sporadically, and if they see you and you're moving, then you're out, or you have to go back to the start. So yeah. That's Granny's footsteps.
Yeah, I think it's a similar game. Like I don't remember all the nuances of the rules, but like I think when I was looking up on Wikipedia once, I was like, oh yes, that is like a variation or similar to that game.
Yeah.
And eggplant. I love your word for eggplant. Aubergine. Yeah, aubergine. That just sounds like a fancy color, like a wall painting color.
We've painted it in aubergine purple.
Yes.
It's because we clung on to a lot of the French from when our court was French or whatever, the French invaded us. I think we've kept a lot of the French. So aubergine. Yeah.
That makes sense.
What do you call it? Eggplant. Yeah, eggplant.
Yeah, eggplant, which I guess we're just like, it's shaped like an egg and it's a plant. Here, it's an eggplant.
Purple egg.
Yes, purple egg. And then this word, I heard it on some like British slang video, and then but then when I've asked people, like British people about it, they're like, I've never heard of that, and I was like, but it's doofer, Doofer.
Yeah,
not real.
We used it when I was. It's kind of an older generation, so my parents would use it. So it's the TV remote.
Oh,
it's the doofer.
It's a doofer.
Or it can be. Yeah, so the TV remote is a doofer, or it can be like a thing. So you'd be like, oh, pass the doofer.
Yeah.
And you're just relying on the fact that they understand what you're referring to. Like, oh, just pass the doofer. Mostly, in most contexts, it's the TV remote.
That's interesting, because I heard it in like when they were explaining it, they said it could be referred to anything, but I don't know. It's like specifically could be that, because we have like whatchamacallit, like that's sort of like give me the whatchamacallit, and that's probably our.
When I've heard it, it's been the TV remote, specifically the doofer.
Wow. Okay. So
Who
learning
knows
new
why?
things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then so the big one that I want to know is like, so with soda, like what do you say for your fizzy drinks?
So we say pop or soft drink.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, like soft drink, I think like you might see that on like a menu here, but like we don't really say it. But and then like, so in Witch Hunter specifically, there's like a moment when Nadia is like going through her like glove box, and like she finds like a bottle of soda, and so I think we put soda on there. And then when I was going back through it, I was like, oh no, I remember it says my husband's from Georgia, and he's always like, everybody calls it Coke because Coca-Cola is based in Atlanta. So everybody calls any soda Coke, which is very confusing because it's like, oh, I'll have a Coke, but really you mean you like want a root beer. That's different. Okay.
How does anyone know what you want?
I don't
How
know.
did they not know?
But yeah, so I just made it a Coke in the story for
Yeah.
the Georgia authenticity. So
Yeah, we'd mostly say pop, I think. Pop. Yeah.
yeah, pop. And
Pop
I
is
grew up saying both pop and soda, so I don't know which one is like native to me. So I'll just say like either. Yeah,
yeah.
I think soda is maybe I lean towards.
Yeah. For us, like soda is more a mixer. So like lime and soda.
Yeah.
So, you know, the fizz, like was it club soda you would call
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more what soda is to us. It's just
That
the
makes sense.
fizzy watery stuff.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I wanted to see if you could attempt an American accent, and I don't even
Oh
want to.
no.
You don't have to.
The
It's too much
pressure.
pressure.
The
Because
pressure.
like
You
I
have to
think
give me something to say.
yeah, I have like 2 example sentences. So one is like, "Are you going to school?"
Are you going to school?
Yeah, so you sound very American to me. And I have a, "May I have a glass of water?"
Ah, water. May I have a glass of water?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Water?
isn't it sound weird like to
Water?
say
Yeah.
like water? Yeah, we have very
Water.
like whenever
Would you
British
like a glass
people
of water?
yeah. So it sounds kind of like the water. Is it
Where's the tea gone?
water?
Water. Although we do
Water.
say water as well,
Water.
where the tea goes away altogether.
Uh-huh.
Water, water, water,
Water.
water.
Yeah, I know. It's like I
Water.
need to like see what's happening with like the tongue because I can't like quite move my mouth that way.
I should get you to do some Geordie, but Geordie's really hard, so I wouldn't
I can even do like a general accent. I can be like like I
Yeah,
have
how
problems.
no, go on.
What like a glass of water? Like how do you say it? Glass of
So we would say water,
water.
water.
Water. I can't do this. Okay.
Apparently, the hardest thing to say in a Geordie accent is thank you.
Oh, what is
So
yeah?
thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's
Just like noise. Thank you.
okay. Yeah, I think it's hard for me to like for my ears to like pick up what the subtle difference is because I'm sure somebody with a Geordie accent would be like,
Yeah. How to say it like water? So it would be like a really broad Geordie accent would be like water.
yeah,
You're
okay,
having a
like
bottle of water.
Yeah.
Water. It's quite like it's harder. If that makes any sense. I won't make you do it because it's really hard. I should ask for what is it? May I have a glass of water?
Yeah,
But just in like plain English, simple RP posh Harry Potter English.
Okay. May I have a glass of water? I can't do an accent.
That's northern. No, that sounds northern. It's not posh, but it sounds northern. You can get away with that. Water.
Yeah,
or say you're right. You're right.
All right. I don't know. It's like it almost doesn't sound that British like that. Like it's the O sounds and like the R, the absence of the R that's like the very British sound. Like that's why I like the word school and the word like water are very like yeah. Like school. Like how do you say school? School. Yeah. There's like school. Now we're getting too silly with it.
It's interesting the way you like tongue and stuff is. So it's like school.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah.
School. Yeah.
It was jolly good fun.
Jolly good fun.
Jolly good fun. But so do you have any resources when it comes to like for determining if something is like American or British English, like certain dictionaries that you use or me? Yeah, it's true because I use Merriam-Webster. I use like Cambridge Dictionary because it will say cheaply British whenever I look up something, so I can check for that. So I am your main source.
I leave it in there just to amuse you, and I'm like, she'll get rid of it because it's not US English. I leave it in to amuse.
No, and there are some like difficulties, the cultural differences that are almost harder to spot sometimes. Like I think there was a mention in the first chapter of Bush Hunter about like a certain art prize, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, this is like the
prize.
Yeah, the Turner Prize. So that's only like the UK. So I was like, oh wait, yeah, I should take that out because I was like, oh yeah, art. I don't know anything about art prizes.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so stuff like that. And then I can't remember if it was you, another writer I worked with, or they like said something about the grid or some kind of like electricity system, and it's also different than it is here, like for what you would call like your national Power Grid or
Power Grid, National
yeah,
Grid.
yeah.
I don't know about that one.
There's so there's like little cultural stuff like that. So but yeah, so that's really fun. I thank you so much for talking to me about all the British.
Quite all right.
So yeah, so you can check out some of Hero's books in the description, which we have Wish Hunter and we have Limelight and Larceny, which is down there on my shelf, and which have all been edited for an American audience. So I would be very surprised if anybody found like a British feeling word in there. But I mean, I'm okay with leaving some of that in. Although obviously Henry in Limelight and Larceny is British, so you will find some wonderful, delightful British things in that book.
Yeah,
so.
many.
So thank you for joining us on the Story Garden Publishing channel.